We are going to unlock the art of crafting your own delicious cream soups by exploring a simple formula that lets you blend flavors from around the world, confidently crafting unique and delicious combinations with ease. Did you know that only 52% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed? You can easily change that by subscribing now and hitting that bell to get reminders when I post a new video. Making cream soups only requires a few components, but they are endlessly interchangeable. So you can take the same technique and swap out different ingredients to make great tasting soups that can be inspired from ethnic cuisines or can be a fusion of your own creation. Today, I'm gonna make two simple starch cream soups that are a great base model, and they are just waiting for your upgrades. So what are the components? Well, we're gonna need an aromatic blend of vegetables, a main vegetable, a crunch of some kind, flavorful liquid for the base, and a milk or cream. You can also use a spice blend of your choice. Okay, so first let's talk about aromatics. Aromatics are a combination of flavorful vegetables combined to be the base of your dish. They round out and bolster all the other flavors. They are the backbone of most cuisine. They often consist of a few common vegetables to a region. In French recipes, the aromatics are onions, celery, and carrot, for a blend they call mirepoix. Other cuisines have their own blends, like the Trinity in Creole cooking, which is celery, onion, and bell pepper. Asian recipes can have ginger, garlic, and scallions as an aromatic base, and Indian cooking can have onions, ginger, and spicy chilies. As you learn more about these aromatic blends, you'll increase your improvisational cooking repertoire, and you'll be able to use them to inspire dishes derived from these cuisines. You can also use all kinds of vegetables as a main flavoring. Acorn or butternut squash work great. So does corn and peas. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a starchy vegetable. It can be pumpkin or broccoli or cauliflower. Today, we're gonna be using two potatoes, sweet and white. For the crunch today, I'm using fried pork because it not only adds to the meatiness of the soup, but it also has that great texture that we're looking for. It doesn't have to be meat though. It can be nuts or seeds or even fried up vegetables like onions. I'll caution you though, if you're gonna use nuts or seeds, be sure to crush them or chop them. A smooth seed in a soup is very unpleasant and it's a bit of a choking hazard. Flavorful liquid can be a stock or a broth or even juice. Also, I say flavorful, but you can just use water if you like. Sometimes water is the right choice to highlight the other flavors in your soup instead of just using a broth or a stock. The milk or cream does not need to be dairy. You can use soy or almond milk. Some cream soups use cream of coconut. Finally, you can add a spice blend. This is especially useful to pair with aromatics of a certain cuisine. We talked about spice blends in my previous Dora Watt video, but spice blends are like fingerprints for a culture and their foods. Now that you have your improvisational toolbox filled up, let me show you a couple of simple soups that you can try and then build off of them. First, let's look at a very simple cream of potato. Prep is gonna be easy. I'm gonna be blending both these soups, so I'm cutting all my vegetables really small to cook quicker and to blend easier. So I dice the carrots, celery, and onions. I also cut my bacon into what they call lardons, which is matchsticks. I just had a hunk of uncooked bacon I got from the store, I cut off a strip, and I cut those into little smaller pieces. So for this recipe, we have classic mirepoix, which is 2 parts onion to 1 part carrot and 1 part celery. For these recipes, I'm using Better Than Bouillon chicken stock. I think this is a great, easy stock to have around the house and makes great soups. I would, of course, encourage you to make your own, but with this pre-made stock paste, you can have this as a weeknight meal. We have 3 cups of stock to 1 cup of heavy cream. And finally, I baked 2 potatoes. I'm using baked potatoes here because it's a great way to get rid of leftovers and allows me to remove all the moisture and concentrate the flavors of the potato. I start by crisping up the bacon, and then I remove it from the rendered bacon fat. I'll reserve some of that fat to cook my aromatics. I'll add in the onion, and I'll cook it for a few minutes, letting the onion sweat and turn translucent. This can take several minutes. This breaks down the onion, mellowing and deepening the flavor and softening it. This is a very important step. After they cook for a bit, we're gonna add the celery and the carrots, and cook these the same way. Letting them sweat on medium heat in the oil removes the moisture and concentrates the flavor. Now, I add my chicken stock and the potato. I cut the potato up a bit with a spoon and then I stir it. I bring this to a boil, making sure the potato is heated all the way through. Since it's already cooked and has all the excess water taken out of it, we don't have to simmer it for long. Now, I use an immersion blender here, but you can use a regular blender or even use a masher to mash the potato and leave it chunky and rustic. I want a smooth cream soup, but you can make this your own. Now, I add the cream and take it off the heat. I serve this with a bit of bacon on top, and I throw some chopped green onion and some parsley on there. You can also use any kind of fresh herbs, and you should choose that based on the cuisine that you're modeling your soup off of. For the sweet potato soup, I'm following the same method, I'm just changing out some of the flavors. I cut some cured chorizo into matchsticks, and I cut the vegetables nice and fine. I'm using a Creole trinity for this recipe, which is onions, celery, and bell pepper. I'm using leeks for the onions here, and I think that leeks are wonderfully subtle, and they give a great taste to a sweet potato soup. To clean them, I run my knife down the side a few times, and then I rinse them under cold water until all the grit is out. Leeks are almost always very dirty when you get them from the store, so be sure to spend some time cleaning them up. I'm also using red bell pepper instead of green because I feel like the color will look better with sweet potato soup. I also just don't want little specks of green in there. I bake my sweet potatoes and I have the same ratio of stock to cream. I did add a spice blend here. I'm using a simple Cajun spice blend that I picked up when I was in New Orleans 2 weeks ago. I crisped my chorizo in the olive oil, and I used the olive oil and rendered chorizo oil to cook my leeks. Again, I sweat the leeks until they're translucent, and then I add the bell pepper and the celery. I cook this down a bit, and then I add my stock and the spice blend. If you like, you can toast the spices for a minute in your aromatics before adding the stock. I mix it in the sweet potato, and I bring this to a simmer, heating the potato through. I then blend with my immersion blender, and then I add the cream and take it off the heat. This is served similarly. I add the soup, then some crisp chorizo, and some scallions and parsley. I hope you found this video useful, and let me know what cream soup you plan to make. If you want the recipes, take a look at the description, and come back next week for another video. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, season liberally.